Hello and welcome to, I don't even know, day one, two, three, four, five, six, day six of this beautiful showcase that we are doing here at ElixSeer Media. And I'm so grateful to be able to bring you these incredible collaborators. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning into the replay. I'm a little under the weather today, even though I look presentable, so don't mind me if I'm moving at a tad bit of a slower pace. But yeah, I always liken things like this, whether it's any sort of sickness, when you're walking in your breakthroughs or you're on the verge of a breakthrough, you'll always experience physical, somatic upgrades. And I've always noticed that. And it's either your body's way of releasing everything or it's any resistance that's popping up because you're here and you're stepping into a new threshold. I know I am. I know the whole team is. Everyone's calibrating and upgrading in a whole different way, on a whole different level. Today, I would actually love to connect you and introduce you to our incredible team. I call her the team executive assistant because I don't really have a better title, but she's so much more than that. Truly, when I found and came across Jordan and her work, I literally was like, holy shit, here is someone after my own heart. She is a brilliant writer, an amazing marketer, and amazing with her photography and visuals. And I was like, holy crap. I'm like, this is the perfect match and the blend, and I need to work with her. And while we haven't actively begun our work together, like Jordan's been immersed in the team, and like I've been mentioning all along, I've spent the last year truly cultivating and developing this team of collaborators and really harnessing each person's unique leadership to come and synergize as one beautiful, beautiful, powerful hive, if you will. So I'm going to bring her on. She's here and give her a warm welcome. Accepted it. There we go. Hi. Hello, beautiful.
Hey, so lovely to see
I
you.
I know my voice, my throat still feels like shards of glass happening here, but I'm sipping all the teas and all the honey and all the hot liquids,
And it's
even though it's warm.
amazing what rest can do, and it constantly shows us how vital that component of life is,
Hundred
whether
percent.
there's sickness or not.
For sure. Last night it was so weird. I was already feeling funky through the day, and it was one of those days where I'm like, I was irritated, but not at anyone or anything in particular. I was just really irritated and
Full
cranky.
moon, full moon energy as well. I definitely felt
Yeah,
into that too.
maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm normally like, I don't like to pay like too much because I don't like to limit who we are and our capabilities based on
Absolutely.
all of that. But you're right, scientifically, hormonally, like all those things impact too. But yeah, I was feeling a certain way, and then I broke into a fever overnight. I'm like, no, God, please, God, please, God,
But
turn
here
all
you
the
are.
settings. Yeah, and then I woke up this morning, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna go at my own pace. That's the whole point of this launch has been trust God's timing, and like we moved, and like it's been the easiest launch, and I've literally been going at my own pace.
And
I've not
that's
come
what
back.
you have come back to ever since we had that call and when I met you for the
100%.
first time.
Yeah.
Every time I converse with you, I'm at my own pace. And to leave from that space as well is just a permission for everyone else to tune into their navigation system within
Yeah.
reason.
Oh gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I gushed on about you before I brought you on, but I would love to hear in your own words, like, who is Jordan Macdonald? Like, where are you based? We have a global team. Jordan lives in one of the most beautiful places. I'm jealous. But yeah, where are you based? What is your work and your mission? Like, how did you get started doing what you're doing?
It was an interesting journey. So, firstly, I'm based in South Africa, which is actually a country that I've run from my whole life until arriving back from Australia about a year ago and having spent almost a full year here. My perspective for the first time ever is starting to shift about this
Yeah.
space. Story for another day. How I got to where I am today began with jobs that I dragged myself to, that I didn't feel were aligned but needed to be done for financial support and pure survival. And also just finishing school, not having acquired skills that I could channel into a full blown career yet. So my first job was administrative assistance with family friends. That was first year out of school when I'd moved to Cape Town, a different city to the city that I was born in. And I soon realized how much organization turns me on and how excited it makes me feel. And how so many people raise their eyebrows to that because who wants to
Like,
do
want to help
who
you
wants
get
to do
organized
admin?
here? Like, I'll fly you.
And my hand is raised. My hand is raised. So it began with administrative work. It then shuffled into au pairing, dog sitting, house sitting. And then I set up a dreaming and visioning ceremony for myself in my lounge. And the answer was clear as day, and it just filtered through me. And it's not something that I can express because it's purely a feeling, and that feeling was the whole puzzle piece put together that I cannot
Yeah.
express through words. But it just said writing and photography, and I'd studied photography first year out of school, and I'd been writing since 13 years old in my journal, personal musings, personal writings, processing emotions just naturally. I just picked up a journal and I started writing, and to this day I think I filled about 50
Wow.
journals. So once that answer came through clear as day, I just burst into tears, jumped up, ran to my mother, and I just told her, after so many years of asking, what am I supposed to pour my energy into, the answer has finally arrived. And I had no idea that you could turn writing, something that I've been doing since I was 13, into a career. It had never clicked for me. I had never seen it. Obviously, novels, writers, authors, anything outside of that, it had never made sense or presented itself in my reality in that way of, this could be me. This is something that I could channel my energy into finally. So after that, that was during COVID. I just dove so deeply into the realm of professional freelance writing and just studied short courses, YouTube videos, connected with other writers, then realized how many friends I actually have in the writing sphere, how many have just finished journalism at varsity, etc., etc. So just engaging in these spaces where people are established and this is their career, this is their life. And then I also studied social media marketing just to understand the back end for my own sake. It was just an interest of mine. And so I started to pick up and acquire all of these skills through these studies. And then I landed this writing job for an online casino, which is something very far from my heart, from my values, but it landed in my lap. It was part of a WhatsApp group, a job WhatsApp group that I was joined into. And the next day I had the job and I was writing reviews to them. We then dropped that client. I then moved into VIP management section for the online casino. Again, something so far from my values and from what
from who you
is.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In saying that though, and in retrospect, once I found myself building my business in Australia, which is what I'll get to, I've realized how each piece, despite me dragging myself there, despite the depletion, despite despising being there, they have all contributed, and I've been able to extract something from all of them, whether it's a soft skill or a hard skill, and bring it into what I'm offering today. Fast track, I was in Australia. I arrived there. The day that I arrive, I get told, we no longer need your support in the team. We're changing work partners, colleagues. We're having to let go of a lot of people. You're one of them. I said, okay, cool. I've just arrived in one of the most expensive countries that I know.
Yeah.
Panic mode settled in, but after a few days of drawing from my toolbox and continuously grounding and just remembering that stress, although is inevitable, is absolutely futile to creative thinking, to stepping into solution focused mode. So I dropped all of that and started searching, and ad hoc jobs came and etc. And then in December, when I was house sitting, experiencing one of the most very subtly traumatic experiences. It was the first time that I was alone in a long time. I was in a completely new country, and it was the first time at the time, 26 years old, that I felt loneliness. But even through that, I just found myself building my business in the space of 3 days. And it only clicked after the first day what I was doing. I picked up my first client backtracking a bit in Bali. And then when I went back to Australia that December, I was like, wow, this is all just coming to life. And
Yeah.
it just, yeah, within the space of 3-4 days, I laid out the foundation, the bare necessities, setting up a few systems in place, gathering women that I wanted to support, reaching out to them, setting up my Instagram page, etc. Just the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And through that, I was able to welcome in clients and them welcome me into their world. And then from there, it's just grown.
I love that. I love that so much. I feel like we have such similar backgrounds and journeys in terms of the writing and the photography and just like being in like so many different places and cultures at different points in time. But oh my gosh. So fun fact for all of y'all, I actually came across Jordan and her work when she was pitching herself to a client that I no longer am with. All blessings to them. But I was in that moment where I had already started the transition and the exit out of this client space last year, and I was working with another incredible client on the West Coast, like my dream author, truthfully. Danielle, I love you if you ever tune into this. But it was at that time, I think it was like July or August, that you had reached out, and I saw that email, and I don't know, like I get instinctual, like, I don't know, God speaks to you through different things, and just instinctively reading your letter, like your email, and then looking at your work, I was like, this is not going to be the place for her. If I were of a similar energetic cadence, this ain't gonna be the place for her, like where she feels seen, heard, and witnessed. And then my wheels started turning. I'm like, do I have something to offer? And then we booked a call, and it was literally like every single one of you on this team, on this collaborative team. It's been a slow process in terms of handing things off for execution, if you will, but I'm okay with that, because it's once you find your people, then it's okay, now you're able to like trust and release it, versus just like hiring because you want someone to just put out all the fires. And I'm like, no, I don't want my team stepping in to put out all the fires. That is absolutely not why I'm hiring you as a leader. And as a fellow business owner, I need to know and get super clear on what I want, what I don't want, simplifying it all, because when it's simple, it's agile and it's light, and everyone can go there that much faster. So I met Jordan in that way, and I think it was God's way of bringing us together. I'm like, no, I'm like, we're not going to put you here. We're going to take you with me.
There's no other way.
Come to the light side. Oh gosh, it's been beautiful. Within ElixSeer, like Jordan's role, at first it's morphed so much. And, at one point I was like, I don't think you're just a VA. You're so much more. I don't even like calling you a VA. Yeah, sure, you can help me like take all my stuff and plug it in, whatever. But I'm like, I can do that too. And then I'm like, but wait, like you do photography and you're a brilliant writer, and like you do social media marketing and stuff. And so I feel like you're more of like, I would like to say you're the team EA, because at some point in the next couple of months, you're gonna, like, I am gonna be leaning on you for good reason to get things organized. Well, they are organized, but to more like start leading with that. But I deeply see you as this person that I can co-create with, co-strategize with. I have Allison Canales and Ali Taimo that are working in-house with me, but more on the mental and the visioning and the creative, the big picture creative, and then distilling it with like our messaging and positioning and all these things. And where I see you fitting in is like helping me like execute all of that and bring that to life. And who knows, even with photography, there's so much. I never like to box people, including myself, into any roles or anything. I think everyone is fluid. It's roll up your sleeves and just go play. I think that's, especially because we're such a creative house. We are, like, our team is full of creatives. It doesn't matter if it's systems or whatever. So
to speak to that point, it's so beautiful, and clarity is one of my favorite experiences and is like my North Star, my guiding light in almost everything that I do. But to speak on that, it's so beautiful to be clear on what you do offer, and then to be open and have this enthusiasm without force for where else could I step in, and perhaps that is actually something else that I could learn more about, or where can I just step in for now? Let me do an audit and see who needs support or which areas need support, even if they're beyond what I come to the table with, and let me see if I can step in there and support.
Absolutely. I want to transition this conversation into what do you, so if you are someone that would, if you had the opportunity to share, like for anyone else making their hire for your role, like what are three things that you would share with them? Like when hiring your first EA or creative strat, I don't know what else to call you, like a creative strategist, what are three things that they would look for?
For me, I'm always first to come to feeling. So whether it is through receiving an application, the input and the information, how am I feeling whilst I am reading through this application? If we're on a connection call, how am I feeling? That is the first place that I'd go to. Turned into intuition is how am I feeling through this interaction and what this person is about. Secondly, I would say with the practice is obvious. Is there proof of effectiveness of support, whether it's through a review, a case study? Let me also see your website. Can I feel your energy through there? Can I sense your creative direction of your own creations and what you're putting online? Another cliche is values, and I think preparation goes both ways for both parties. So if I'm hiring, I need to be super clear on what areas am I seeking support with? What kind of character and energy do I want to bring on to handle those areas of support? And what are my values? What is my business and my company's values? And does this person before me authentically match that?
Yeah.
So
No, I
pretty
love
cliche,
that.
but that's what I would begin with.
You know what? I wouldn't even look at those as cliches. I look at them as like the basic fundamentals of like it doesn't matter what role you're hiring for, but especially if it's a role like yours, or if you are a business owner looking to just bring on that extra hand, that extra set of eyes, like be intentional about who you're hiring. Every single hire, be intentional about it. Like get so clear on why you're hiring that person, because there's nothing worse, and I've been on both sides of this there, as like the person hiring and then as the person hired. There's nothing worse for the person you've hired to literally be waiting there when you are so not clear about your direction, about what's coming through, when you as the business owner, as the creative visionary, the chief visioning officer as I like to call it, you don't know what's happening in your field a year from now. Like I'm not saying you got to stick to the plan, but it's good to have that bird's eye view of, if you look at big companies, and specifically because we all, like, I think all of our zones and commonalities are marketing. Like if you look at marketing and the way it's planned out, people don't go month by month like, oh, surprise, I'm going to download and I'm just going to go smash something out there. Like that works, but that only works because they're bedrock. They've planned not just for 1 year, they've planned for the next 5 years. What are we executing? What are our brand verticals? What are our products? Whatever, what are our offerings? And then all the teams respect. That's how you have jobs. That's how you create roles, right? So it's like bringing it to that. And then on the flip side, for the person that is hiring, there's nothing worse for you if you aren't able to vocalize and delegate effectively and ask for what you want. And all of this stems back to knowing what are your values, knowing what you're here to do, and then again having that feeling. So I love that you touched on it.
In saying that as well, I've had a couple connection calls where this potential client mentions that they need support, but they're unclear on where they need support with. So something that I've started sitting with and stepping into is how can I even start my support from that moment by doing an audit and seeing
Yep.
These are my services, this is what I can bring to the table. Let's break your business down.
Yep.
And let's ask prompt questions for each aspect and see what feels right to delegate, what you want to keep and what you want to someone else to handle for you. So
Absolutely.
clarity is vital. That's number one, and that's so important. But I've also learned how I could already start stepping in and supporting when someone is unclear of, oh my goodness, I have so many tasks that I want to delegate, but I'm actually not sure where to start.
Yeah, you did that with me, right? Like, I mean, we had our conversation in August, and I think I was still bringing all of this. It was still being formed, and I'm like, wait, I can't have too many people cross-lapping or whatever the term is. But then I think you also helped me get super clear on, okay, like here's all of what I can do out of all of this. What are you willing to hand over? Where are you still wanting to have your hands in? And I was like, I want to create my own stuff still. I don't want anyone creating for me. But what I don't like, and I mean, I can do it obviously. And like when I move fast, I'll go and plug it into the systems. But I'm like, you can help me with putting this where it needs to go so it gets out to whoever it needs to get out to. And then all of the other stuff. But I think you did that to me. I think that's a beautiful service that you provide, like from the get go too, because then it just helps like cement that client interaction. Okay, my next question for you is what are some, because you always write a lot about this too on your feed, and I love reading that because it's like really nice. So what are some words of wisdom that you'd love to share with those who want to blend and bring like that balance of like life and business? Like I personally don't believe in like a separation of work and life. Like it's weird because I mean at corporate you had to do that because you know you go and you clock out and you come back. But I feel like as a business owner it's never really separate. I just think you have seasons where certain things take more precedence over the rest. So how what would be some of your words that you'd want to share on that?
I'm in complete agreement, and we have so many different pockets of life, and these pockets make up our life, and we have so many different expressions. For me, firstly, let me actually begin with subconscious work, getting real clear on what brought me to my laptop for at one point 12-hour work days, 12, 13-hour work days. What narratives are churning in my mind that are not allowing me a 2-hour break in the evening to wind down before bed and eat dinner consciously, presently in front of my food, to put my feet on the grass. And these were 12, 13-hour days without a 20-minute break. So I had to get really, which went against every reason as to why I built this in the first place. And I'm really grateful that I went through that because it illuminated unhelpful narratives. So I would begin with, I feel like you can't have work without inner traveling and discovery, and the two don't go without one another. Then I would say work is not separate from life. It's just a pocket of your life. And so when you're nurturing all aspects of your life, you're also nurturing all aspects of yourself. And then comes the sustainable fulfillment. So it's about coming down to, what do I value? Because when you value something, you're going to treat that thing with a lot of respect and care and kindness, etc., etc. So I value work, and I value playtime, and I value, just assess your values. What do you value? And therefore you will approach each one of those values in the same way, with love, respect, kindness, as I mentioned. So I also had to get really clear on what I value, and how, yes, I was living life in accordance to my values, but only half-heartedly, because it was just all about work, and I totally neglected playtime and yoga and walks, conversations with my friends, the amount of times I turned down experiences with my friends because I was just glued behind my laptop. So it's about getting clear on your values, and then spreading it out, I suppose. One other thing I also will mention is I'm a structure baby. My masculine is very strong within me. So structuring your day with flexibility. So in the mornings, it's you time, it's connection, it's nurturing your consciousness, it's that in the morning. Then you delegate and devote a certain amount of hours to work. And then afternoons, evenings, however you want to structure your day. But have a mixture, have a balance. And not be strong with your boundary, because when it's something that you value, it comes naturally, but have those boundaries in place and create a bit of separation and pockets. Those are two words that are just coming to mind for all of the different areas in your life that you need to nurture in order to create fulfillment. So as important as work is, so is every other aspect of life, and they all intertwine in ways.
No, I love that. I love that so much. It's so funny. All of y'all know this, and it's no secret. I'm very open about this. Like, but prior to March or February, when I experienced what I experienced with the miscarriage, prior to that, my life literally had no space for life. And I always say it that way. Like when I speak with any of my friends, like other fellow female business owners and stuff, I was like, my life didn't have space for life, let alone sustain it, let alone grow it in whichever way. And I, for the longest time, and this is where, and like you said, it's that subconscious conditioning, the generational conditioning of you gotta work like X amount of hours a day in order to be worthy and valued, and your productivity is the value of who you are. I remember, oh my God, it was horrible. I look at those experiences as it taught me what I don't want to do and how I don't want to be moving forward.
Absolutely.
It is sad that it took me like over a decade to find, and like a painful lesson to learn that lesson. And to finally be like, no, this is not, and like to bring that voice, like, no, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not settling for this. And it was almost like the power dynamic, especially learning to have those conversations, whether it's with clients, whether it's with family, friends, whoever. And I was talking to one of my best friends the other day, and she was like, Tanya, look how far you've come in just a year. She was like, I know you've come so far, like we went to school together and like university and stuff. She's like, I know you've come far because like when you put your mind to something, you'll do it. But she's, look how far you've come in a year because you got selfish and ruthless with your time and energy. And she's like, selfish isn't even selfish, but she's like, you got very discerning with who you're giving your time and energy to, whether it's in business, in life, friendships, even familial relationships, like being very, I don't know, I've been called ruthless for doing that, but I don't look at it as a bad thing. I think at some point in time, you have to be that way when you are looking to like go a certain path, and the ones that want to join you will, right? And the ones that don't, that's okay. They'll get it. Or if they don't, that's okay. That's not their path anyway. All
And
this
this
to
is
say, all
sorry.
this to say, like I remember I was at a gathering. This was like September in 2022, and I was still coming off the heels of my burnout. And there's so much. I was so burnt out that year, and there's a lot of stuff like between mental health and like just other challenges. And I remember I was at this gathering. It was like a little, I don't know, like a prayer circle, cacao, like all that. It was in the evening. A friend of mine was hosting it, and she was like, Tanya, come. And I was like, no, I think I have work for this client, and blah blah. And Tanya, I'm pretty sure no one's gonna want you to do work for them at 6 p.m. on a Friday night. And I'm like, okay, no problem. But you know, your body knows. And I remember like Slack gives me nightmares. Like this is why we don't use Slack in our company. But I remember my Slack notifications going off because over and over again, time zone differences, whatever. But it was like, hey, why is this post not up? And blah 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 and whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And my body was still in that panic mode, hyper vigilant, whatever, learning to, still fawning, even though I'm still like learning to cultivate my boundaries. And I felt so guilty for even, I didn't unplug until it was time for us to like actually sit in circle. Like, so when I was there at a gathering and I had my laptop pulled out and I'm sitting here designing and writing and doing the things, I'm like, what a nightmare. Like, I'm here on this beautiful property. There's a gorgeous lake out there. Like, it is a beautiful fall day. Like, you know, the sun hadn't set yet. And there's people coming in that I could mingle with. And I'm like, here I am, plugged into this, but also it's commitment because I'm like, I said yes to this a lot. And it was all those generational dialogues playing in my brain. I was like, oh my God. And it was only like February, March last year where all of that just, I was so angry and it just broke free out of me. I was like, enough. What do you value? Do you value family? Yes. Then you make space for family. By family, like my husband, my child, like our moms.
And your child to come.
Yeah. But in general, just make space for family, right? Do you value health? Okay, if you value health, because I also have hormonal health issues, guess what? You can't be stressing out and working 20 hours a day. You can't be doing that. No, you can if you're, you know, if there's that balance of compensation and all those other things. What are the trade-offs, right? And everything in life has that trade-off. And I was like, I'm like, we ain't doing this. And it has taken me all of last year to be like, no, like we're not. This is, and to bring that down to an equilibrium in my own inner state.
Everything you've just shared. That's why I'm smiling so big, because just resonates so deeply. And it's only until a couple weeks ago, it obviously fluctuates, but
Yeah.
I went through this bout of a couple months of working 12, 13-hour days,
God.
and in a part of me was clearly loving it,
Yeah.
because even though there was fatigue, it wasn't overwhelming fatigue, and there was still so much excitement to just keep going. And then the clarity sets in, like there's a catalyst moment, like going to the circle and just opening your eyes and realizing how little spaciousness you have given to more creativity for the design work that you have to do to come through, and to have heart-to-heart connections. I don't believe that even though we are fulfilling our mission and this dream that has been instilled within us, that is what we are expressing. I don't believe that we came down to earth to solely do that.
Yeah.
In the work environment, I don't believe we came down just for that. And to also have that anchorage point has helped me to break up my day and say after 5-6 with flexibility, cool, this is the end of my work day. This is the end of my work day. And also, this is exactly why I reach out to, and why clients like this reach out to me, is that there's this understanding that we're cultivating businesses and lives like this, like we've just spoken about, lives that value and cherish the full spectrum, and that are not just work focused.
Yeah, I think my whole premise, last year I, like, on the heels of all of that miscarriage and everything, I led this series called God-Led Business. And it has been, it's probably, I don't lead a lot of master classes or anything like that, but when I do, it's like, it comes from like this place of, okay, where do we need to overturn the tables? Like, where are we going a new way? And it is, I've gotten feedback on that, like, where it has probably been one of my most, I don't think too much of it, but people have told me, like, especially done for you service providers, doesn't matter whether you're a designer or a VA or an agency, like, okay, there's something here, like, it's a powerful body of work, and it's on the podcast for any of y'all that want to listen to it. But what came off of the heels of that was literally this: it's just because I, as a business owner, desire, we all started business for freedom in many ways, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, and we'll get to those things. It might not happen all at once, but it'll happen. But that was the goal. We're all cut from the same cloth, and her name is freedom, right? And we want to create an impact. So it's my need for that freedom is not any better or higher than your need for the exact same thing, just because you're a part of my support team. And
Absolutely.
that was the dissonance that I was like, I'm like, this is not good, because I see this happening I've seen it happen in corporate, and I'm like, that's corporate. Like, you expect it, right? It's like the big man or whatever running whatever the thing, and then everyone else is just like little plebeians doing their shit. But then you see it in business, and I'm like, and then you see it even more in female-owned businesses, and I'm like, I don't understand. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this? And it's been a homecoming of, no, just because you have a team does not mean you run that team ragged to the ground. And just because you want to live a life freaking unplugged doesn't mean you literally burden a team with everything. Okay, you got to know as a business owner how to roll up your sleeves and do the things inside out. Because, for example, when my old brand, in a way, thank you God, disintegrated, and I couldn't keep the old team, like, I had to release, and I was evolving, there was a good 6 to 8 months where I'm like, I know how to do these things, so I can do it. Did it take like a cost out of me? Yes, but I wasn't in the fiscal position to hire more at that time. So but because I knew how to do the things in my business, and I knew my business inside out, I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna just keep going. The support's there, and it's great when you know what you want, where you're going, all of that stuff. But I feel like too many people hold themselves back, or they don't hold themselves back, and then they're just like, I don't know. But that was the whole crux of God-led business. I was like, where is the love, and where is, like, mutual respect amidst business owners? Because you guys are not my employees. You guys are collaborators. You guys are your own, like, you guys all own your own businesses. So can we come to a table, like, equal power, matching each other's genius,
Yeah.
and create something magical. And so I set out on that mission. I think it's been a long time coming, and like every part of the journey helped me. I just wanted to share that.
And that's something, just before we transition, that's something that I am so deeply inspired by, because up until this point, every single other one of my clients have had, maybe it's either just them or it's 2 or 3 more people, but that's tech guy and like expanded separation, not so immediate like this team is. And so to be part of this team every day is just so deeply inspiring. And yeah, just your level of leadership and the way that you approach leadership is, that's why we're sitting here today, is just, yeah, just so in alignment and so nurturing of my values too. And that's how you create a team that delivers high quality, high class work, is because everyone's being felt and heard and seen and nurtured and loved.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing our best selves, and we rested, and we're not overworked, etc., etc.
No.
And so we're bringing us and our full vibrancy to the table.
Absolutely. It's so funny. Like, it was in corporate too. I used to hear this in corporate, and Gary Vee said this, and there's so many people that have talked about this. Like, people don't leave bad companies. They don't leave bad businesses, because business is an entity that is so separate. Like, the business gets to receive money and deliver services, receive money and create impact. It's its own entity, and energetically it's its own thing. People leave bad managers, and they leave bad managers because managers are just doing that. They're managing. They're not connecting at a visceral level, at a heart, human level, not even heart, like just be human. And they're not pouring into their team. I remember sitting on a call, and this was 2 years ago, and I remember the client at the time, I was like, I held a lot of space for them with whatever they were experiencing in their business, as we all do for our clients and for each other. But I remember one time, and it was like, ooh, it just caught me so off guard. And their role was like, I'm not here to mentor you or coach you. And I was like, nobody asked for your mentorship. But I'm like, as the leader of your company, you should want to mentor your team, especially if you want your team and you see your team growing with you and expanding with you. And ideally and truthfully, you should want your team to grow beyond you. You shouldn't need them. They should want to stay with you. I know there'll come a day when everyone's like, hey, like, I think we're ready for bigger things, but I hope, and it is my sincere hope, that as this continues to grow, we're still like, hey, remember when we first started? Like, it's one of those.
This is going to be the bigger thing that we want to move on to.
And I feel like too many leaders and too many business owners are very scared of just letting their people be who they are and letting them spread their wings. There's very few that are able to do that. I don't know if she's watching. She had tuned in, my biz bestie, Sabrina. And that's like a perfect example. So her and I worked with her at our publishing house since inception. We built and grew a beautiful mission together, right? I was her developmental editor, in-house writing coach, whatever, so much more than that. And then in 2022, at one point, we had to have that bittersweet conversation. I was like, I don't want to flee the coop. I don't want to fly the nest. I still want to be here, but being here is keeping you small, Tanya. And I'm like,
are we breaking up?
Yeah, no, it was one of those, I'm like, but I love you so much and I love doing this work. And she's like, but what's lighting up your heart? And I'm like, honestly, like the agency and like all things creative. I just need a break from the editing, and I really just want to, this was always my thing, the leadership, the identity work, the creative whatever with multimedia. And so she was like, I love you so much, like I'm not gonna let you play small, like this will always be home base, but go spread your wings, go see what else is out there. And then now we're working together again on different projects, and it's been such a full circle moment in different capacities. And that to me was like the example of a beautiful sisterhood and leadership, where it's, no, you spreading your wings doesn't take away from mine. Like, you're just evolving, and I want you to evolve. I don't want you to stay small. But there's not too many people like that in this space.
And that to me is embodying God and our divinity through every aspect of our business. That
Yeah.
to me is the epitome of I'm running a God-led business and I'm supporting God-led entrepreneurs and my team as well. And so when I can see that someone else needs to go over there, I have full
Yeah.
trust in abundance, full trust in and honoring of this person's journey. And we've all seen that the moment we follow our intuition and we let go of something, how
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form it
It
returns.
returns
And so
10
it just,
times.
yeah, it's so beautiful to see it in action. And that I feel is how, because anyone can say they're running a God-led business, but it's so
Been there.
evident when you can see it in the most massive moments like that,
Yeah.
when a team member is contributing so greatly to the growth of their business, but you can just see it. You need to.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. And so it's just, there's a couple of clients, including her, that have come full circle with me. We had wrapped up our work because it just felt complete
Yeah.
energetically in 2022. And then now they're like, no, we want to continue working with you in a different capacity. And I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah, come on over. Like, we got you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think for my three last questions. How did you find and create a place for yourself on this team? Because we're all creatively driven. So, how do you find your own identity and space on a team? Or do you have any tips for anyone else, like any other VAs or any other people that are in the same role as you? Do you have any tips for them? One or two?
I would say I showed up and I said, this is what I have to offer. And the services that I offer, and the virtual assistance business that I have created is such a beautiful blend of organization and creativity. And I know you're purely speaking about creativity, but I showed up and I said, this is what I have to offer. And synergistically, we landed on my placement, and we landed on the areas that I will support with for now. And I also have come to you with this openness and this eagerness to learn and to expand. And so and I feel like energetically I've now presented to you that I am open to stretching myself. So
Yeah.
if there is an area that you feel, let's bring Jordan's energy into this, then I am there. So I think I would begin by just saying I've showed up and I've stated this is the value that I have to bring. This is what I have to offer, and I'm also so open to where else I can fit in. And even also me just stating that, I suppose it's just stating your nature and what you're available
Yeah.
for and what you're willing and ready to do. And so even in the organizational aspects, like you can add some kind of creativity to that in some way, whether it's coloring an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, or there's
Like,
always creativity
it's
that you
not
can
my
bring
jam.
into everything.
I was like, that is not my jam. Can I do it? Yes. But nope, my eyes will glaze right over. No, this is your thing. It's your jam, right? It's one of those. I love it. When you think of the word, and I've been asking all our collaborators this because I have a
Important.
little mishmash going on
Yeah.
in my brain on how to bring this to life creatively. But when you hear the words ElixSeer, what do they mean to you? And it doesn't have to be about me or the company, but just what does that word mean to you?
The first thing that comes to the forefront is essence, our own power, and drinking that and offering that for others to drink as well, and tying into your business. It's us teaming up and collaborating with other women who have acknowledged their essence, who are connected to their essence, but are perhaps unsure how to
Bring it out.
translate that, how to
Yeah.
get that across, how to bring that out. So we are the seers of this essence of ElixSeer, and we have the eyes and the vision and the skills and the knowledge and the wisdom and the know-how to bring that outside of you with you. And yeah, so I suppose it's just an extraction of your essence, and we are the seers of women, God-led entrepreneurs' essence.
I love that. Last question. How can people like connect with you or work with you? What are some ways are you taking on new clients right now at the moment?
Absolutely. So I've recently just gone through a restructuring, which was quite scary but also exciting because it better suits my
Mm-hmm.
vision of how many hours a day I'd like to work, how my afternoons to look and my mornings to look. and it just better suits the amount of women that I want to serve in order for me to bring everything to these women. So yes, at the moment I have created a lot of space for this restructuring, and so I'm available for more clients, and really excited to connect with new missions, new women, new faces, new energy, and for them to welcome me into their world as well. And so you can find me on my Instagram, my website's www.jordanmacdonaldva.com. But the link in my Instagram bio is how you can schedule a connection call or pop me an email, and then you can move through my website to get more of a feel.
Amazing. Well, Jordan, thank you so much. I don't even know what time it is there because you guys are like 6 hours ahead, 5 hours ahead.
It's almost 6 o'clock. Dinner time.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much for taking the time to come here and like just share more about yourself and like connect with everyone here on this side of the world, wherever you are watching from. And I'm just really grateful to have you in my corner, our corner, and I am so excited for everything coming. And yeah, I can't wait to continue growing together. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Me too, and thank you. Thank you for so many things, but thank you for your time and for setting this up.
Yay.
And for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, my dear. Go enjoy your day. To everyone else watching, have a beautiful, blessed Thursday. Yeah, today's Thursday. It's one of my favorite days. And yeah, if you guys want to watch the replay, it's going to be here on Instagram. I don't know for how long, but what we are doing, and I've been reiterating this in every live, we are taking these and we are packaging it up into one email that will have all of these, I guess, episodes and interviews there for you to soak up, along with some other bonuses. And of course, first dibs to our offerings. It is no secret that we've always been open for business. A lot of our business has been referral based, word of mouth, organically grown. And so that's amazing. But we realized that we revived a core offer and we brought some more new life into it. And we realized that there really is a need in this space. The gap that we've seen is people desire art. People desire art that evokes emotions and eviscerates old patterns and makes you feel something. And we're not a content mill, we are an artistic creative house. The medium doesn't matter, is what I've always said. It doesn't matter if it's a podcast or graphics or a magazine or whatever, it's your copy or your email marketing, social media, it doesn't matter. But the brilliance of every single person on this team that comes together is we're able to take your vision and translate it in the way that matches who you are now and who you're evolving to be. And it's a work of art. It's not your plain old graphics or whatever. Like, you feel yourself in every single, I don't know, audio, visual, written medium, if you will. So just forecasting this, and I will start talking more about these in our Instagram stories. So if you haven't registered yet, register at the link in the bio, because that's where the documentary will also be premiering on May 1st. And I'm just grateful to have you here. Have a beautiful day. Bye.